Right, hello, back again. I'm Jono, and basically this is part 4 of converting my mum's van into a camper. And we've done the electrics, or put the wiring in, so we're going to have a little chat about that. But we're going to redo the floor. And a good friend of mine basically said, he's a carpenter anyway and done a lot of vans, and he said, you know, for the sake of just pulling out some screws, it's good to insulate. So let's have a little chat inside the van and see what today shall bring. Basically, a friend of mine, his name is Andrew. If you're watching this, thank you, Andrew, for making me do more work. But he's a very amazing, gifted carpenter, and he's done a lot of van renovations. So he got in touch and said, you know, if the floor is not down too much yet, you know, if you haven't built the bed and stuff, which we haven't, it's probably worth just pulling up to insulate. And we've got such a massive amount of it left, so it will be very beneficial for my mum. Like, it will keep it cool and warm in, you know, winters and summers, and the opposite way round, summers and winters. Actually, no, there's one more thing that I must remember to do, so let's quickly film this. Okay, so as you can see on the edge, we've cut this plywood and it goes over the spare tyre hole. Now, this is fine. However, it depends what goes on top of this. Okay, this is quite close to the door. What I was about to say is that I'm going to have to shave off, draw a line and cut. So I can't see it, can you? Cut a little bit back, but the plywood that's underneath this plywood is going to be removed, so this will be lower, so therefore I probably won't have to cut this. And I also don't really want to go into that circle, so probably going to leave that right now. And yes, coffee time. Here we are once again. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to unscrew everything and let's see what lurks underneath the original ply. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is mark around the actual bits of timber I've screwed down into the floor for the bed. It's not exactly vital because it's actually all measured, and I will measure it properly and accurately later, but it's just in there for a bit of a visual guide at the moment, just to sort of see what we fancy doing. Yeah, I forgot one screw, the head got rounded off, so we need to angle grind it, so I've got to get the Slim Jim. Right, I've just basically unscrewed the guide rails for the bed. I've also now just gone along marking top side right, top side left, you know, just for ease in a bit when I put it all back. Honestly, that is the 4th siren in the last 10 minutes. People on the Isle of Wight need to calm down. Holy shit, my hair looks fine right now. Okay, so obviously you can see the markings that I put down. Back top right, back top left. Left top side, it's all there. Anyway, that's what I've done just for ease. So now, time to unscrew the top layer again, and then we'll have a look at the next layer underneath that. Right, you know how in the previous video I said that we use self-tapping screws? They are basically wonderful, and they go through timber and metal, and they go straight into the body of the van. Getting them out, on the other hand, as you can see, I'm already sweating. And these are a nightmare to get out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw them. When you unscrew them, they do pop slightly, which is good. I'm going to have to get the claw hammer and gently pull it off so it pulls through the other bit of ply. And then once the plywood's out, I'm going to use some pliers and then push it through and then pull it. This is exactly why nothing is simple. Anyway, this has to be done carefully so I don't rip up all the pieces. Let's get on with this. Yeah, getting these self-tapping screws out is a bit more of a ball ache than you would think if you've never done this before. It's they go in and they go in tight, so it's a case of pulling them out or pushing them out or whatever. Right, as you could see, that was a bit of a palaver, and best way of getting those out once you've got the board up is to use a hammer, but they go everywhere, so whatever, bang them out. Right, next up, collect any of the self-tapping screws so I can reuse them, and then pull up this mouldy old shit and see what's underneath it. Time to have a look at the plywood that's underneath, the original plywood, basically. I think it's all going to be I'd love to reuse some of it, but I doubt it's going to be reusable. I mean, let's see. Okay, the original ply, you can see how battered it is at the end. I'm going to rip this up, see if I can do it in pieces, but if not, it's just going to be torn up like a beast would. Having like a bit of a workout. Okay, so let's have a little look at the damage. As you can see, it's a filthy thing. Thank you for the drill bit, packers, whatever. Right, okay, so the actual plywood, like some of it's actually all right. It's not actually mouldy at all underneath there. So I'm going to clean all this crap up, and then I'm going to remove the screws that they've screwed straight into. Once I've then cleaned it with soapy water, I'll probably put some silicone over the holes so that it doesn't come up through the ground. But yeah, let's get on with this. Time to get Henry out. Now, if you're American, you probably don't know what Henry is. Henry is a legendary Hoover that comes from England. You could suck up a fucking building yard with one of these things. I think there's a Harrietta and a George. I think George sucks water up. Like, they're amazing. They literally never break. Anyway, it's a very interesting story for you. Well, I'm feeling like it was a very good call getting Henry involved. So, yeah. Basically, I'm going to get the mop. I'm going to mop it all out now and get a brush and clean any of this stuck on dirt. I'm going to get rid of the screws. And you see the holes, they go straight through. I'm going to put a bit of silicone over these holes once it's dried. But yeah, I think Henry's done a good... Look at him! He is so happy right now. I mean, he just, all day, he's like Slash, really. He just loves doing cocaine, heroin, hookers, and playing Les Pauls. This guy felches anything, man. You need to buy one. So, bit of a clean up. Get a mop with hot soapy water, and then mop this bad boy out and brush it out. And then, I think lunchtime it's a really baking hot day, I don't know if you can tell. And just let it dry out for half an hour, and then we'll crack on. What? I'm going to get rid of those screws first, because then otherwise I'm going to have to keep walking in there and making it more dirty. Right, this is filthy, so it's time to go and get the tea towel. Right then, that's good. My hair's looking better now. The van, this is now looking so much cleaner. Obviously, it was filthy, and this is a good opportunity to get some lunch. Let the sun just kind of dry it, and then basically we're going to silicone the holes that exist. and insulate this bad boy with all the leftover stuff, I might have a shower. It depends really. I'm already feeling I'm getting typhoid or E. coli. Right, see you in a minute. Just had a spot of lunch and just tested the van. It's dried out nicely. So let's have a little look and see what we're dealing with, what we're going to do next. Didn't have a shower, just changed the shirts. Lovely. For some reason though, my hair looks much better. Oh God, right. Let's have a look at this stuff. Okay, so as you can see, it is way cleaner. The first thing I'm going to do, all of these holes from the screws, I'm going to actually put a bit of silicone over the holes, and that's just to seal it from anything coming up from underneath. So yeah, let's do that quickly, and once I've done that, then it's time to put the foil back insulation. Thumb just broke, obviously, because it's a piece of crap. Anyway, hopefully it's fixed now. Okay, so silicone has been put on each hole, roughly. Let's have a quick look at that. As you can see, just little blobs of silicone over the holes, nothing special. The foil back insulation is going to go over this. Oh, I missed one. Anyway, that's just to stop any water coming through, you know, like, so I'm not going to be drilling it in exactly the same places, so whatever. I think it's worth doing. Obviously I'm just looking at dirty flies in here at the moment. Let's get the insulation in, and it's just going to be the same as what we did on the walls the other day and the ceiling, so I'm just going to get cracking on with that. So I've got the first sort of length, the main part down. A few considerations here. As you can see, there are peaks and troughs in the bottom of this, and the plywood's just going to go straight on top of it. So I'm not actually concerned. I've tried to get as much air out as possible, but honestly, I don't think any of this matters once the actual board's in. Considerations though, to cut around this plastic, whatever it is, cover. I'm going to cut around here, obviously, for the spare tyre. Obviously, all of that needs to be visible. I'm going to actually leave these clamps in because they go underneath where the ply is, so it's absolutely fine. And now I'm just going to cut in all these other fiddly bits, and then job done. I think that is it. I think all the foil back's in now. So let's have a quick look at it and then reassess. Oh my God. We are literally one stage away from wearing mirrorball suits and having lights and having a rave in here. Well, obviously if you're a hobbit, you could have it in here. So, obviously I've cut round this. I don't know what the name is for that, but some protective guard. cut round here, and I've cut around quite generously just to make sure it doesn't ever catch, because I don't think that's sensible. And right, so yeah, I ordered 15 meters, 15 by 1 meters length, and this is a Peugeot Expert van. I would definitely say 15 meters is a little bit too much, so probably 10 meters would be ideal. Okay, so the next step is I'm going to put the plywood in, rest it, line it all up and stuff, and see how it all fits. And then I'm probably going to have to put a few bits of ply underneath certain corners just to actually make sure that none of it's wobbly and it fixes. And then we'll go from there, I think. Okay, a few issues, and yeah, let's have a little think about this. Okay, so the first thing that must be changed, I left the metal clamp here, but it actually is too raised. So I'm gonna cut round there and remove it, and then insulate that, and then that'll be absolutely solved. That side over there is absolutely bang on, which is great. Plans. They do change. Adapt, improvise, overcome. Some asshole in the army drilled that into me. But I have to say, they had a point. Okay, so first thing I've just fixed is this here. I've actually left it in, it was just bent the wrong way. And now, this just is perfect, as far as perfect goes. The other decision that I've made is that this, I did say plans change. Right, yeah, I've just taken off the guard, and absolutely going to keep it off. I mean, have a look. Dirty farmyard buggers leaving all this filth under here. Anyway, if I leave that off, that's flush with that, which means I'm just going to have to cut this a bit further back. And jobs are good, and why mess around? Sort this out. So just to show you what I'm doing right now, in case you've never cut out any plywood or anything like that, let's have a quick look. If I lift this up, you can see I've removed the plastic now. So there's no point in having it. I'm so glad I didn't cut around the plastic. However, I do have to cut around this actual locking mechanism, otherwise we can't shut the door. So as you can see, what I'm mocking up there, and I've measured it, just so I've done some rough curves at the minute, just to visualize it. And then I'm going to cut this out and go and see if I've got I might have a jigsaw. If not, I might have to drill it and then tidy this up on Wednesday when I go and see my dad and use and abuse the power tools. Anyway, let's sort this out. Right, I've done a rough cut. Let's actually have a little look at it. Yes, here we are. We had already, bear in mind, we had already cut this bit out here, so I kind of made the lines go like that. Anyway, I thought it best to go right back to here. The floor, whatever, like will go, I don't know, I'll cut some laminate so it actually goes over that bit, and then put probably some expanding foam just in there just to tidy it all up. But this way we get to keep the bed nice there. One thing that I'm going to have to do, which I I might actually be able to use some of this off-cut stuff actually. Underneath here, I'm going to need to pack the edge with some of this, otherwise it's going to be unstable. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to pack all the edge, make sure it's all stable, check the end wing bits so they are going to fit. Once this is packed and in place, I'm actually going to screw it. I'm going to screw this down using the self-tapping screws I saved, and then I'm going to have a look at these little wing bits and chamfer off the edge a little bit more, and then we should be good to go, I think. Plans, they do change. Right, we're having a bit of difficulty, right? Where before the plywood was on top of plywood, there were no joins, and the joins here are between the tongue, like the peak and troughs, if you want to call them that. So I've just pulled this up, and I'm going to put a sliver of plywood underneath it, so there is no joint. When you stand on it, it isn't even or anything like that. Bit of a ball ache, but nothing in life is simple, is it? Anyway, let's get on with this. Okay, so these joins that I was just talking about, I'm cutting slivers of thick, well, not the thickest of ply, it's not centimetre thick, I have to measure this, it looks half centimetre, but this is going to go underneath the edge so it doesn't actually drop, and I've got to do that on both sides, so it's a pain in the ass, but it's got to be done. Right, okay, so I'm just going to show you exactly what I've just been messing around with to make this actually usable. So underneath here you can see the bubble wrap. Now before there was plywood underneath this, so the join didn't actually matter, so the second layer didn't actually move, but because there's nothing supporting underneath this trough bit, I've cut in plywood and it acts as a ledge. And there's a bit of movement until I screw it down, but if I put this piece in, you'll see that this rests on top of that. And now that's totally flush. And when I screw them both in, these have a lip to sink on. So I've got to do that. Then I've got to do that side. Then I've got to mess around with the back bits, and my phone's about to die. So I'm going to put it on charge and then we'll reconvene later. Right. Fun and games and all that. My battery's about to die, so I'm just going to go and put it on charge, and I'm going to get on with what I've just said I'm going to get on with, and then we'll reconvene from there and carry on. It's amazing how such a simplistic thing takes so much work. Cup of coffee then. Okay, I'm back. I've been charging the phone. Obviously I basically run out of self-tapping screws, so Wednesday this is going to carry on. Let's have a little film and show the debauched mess that I've been making. Okay, so obviously we're going to have a little tidy up in a minute, but I've screwed these wings in, and this is absolutely solid, and it's got a piece of ply underneath the lips, so both lips are actually resting on something, so it's all completely secure. Done the same for over there. I've run out of self-tapping screws, and it's Sunday and nothing's open, so we're gonna stop now. But basically on Wednesday I'm gonna finish off screwing this down, which is only a few screws. I need to recut these back bits so they actually fit properly, because now things have changed and lowered. This is the side panel where the light switch is going to be cut in, but there's no point just doing it right now. I was just actually sizing this up, so that's going to be all next video is going to be finishing the last bits of the floor, putting in the ceiling and cutting in the holes for the lights, and we'll put the side panels in as well with the insulation and have the switch coming out and mount that as well. Sorry, I'm in deep thought now. Right, so next video, finish the floor, put the ceiling in, and put the side panels with the lights, and then it's all about actually putting the lights in, which isn't a very big job, and testing it all again. And then I think it's time to actually build the bed and the cupboard, which is going to be quite exciting. So see you in the next.